knife, it's a bone. I feel just like you. If you feel like me, then let me hear you scream out, psych ward family. A 3G system in 1G ride, bitch, hitting so hard, feel like worlds collide. Man, 10,000 Cadillacs said it, let me hear it. Bitch, we claiming Cleveland and we ain't prepared to share it. So pop in some wolf pack and put your dukes up, or do it like 3-6 and tear this club up. Bloodstains, cocaine, weed, greed, and power. Mushrooms got me here, be gone in an hour. I'm ready to trip and flip the script. Haters stomach and pistol whip. Watch it, bitches run. Where you going, son? That door is locked and a gun is cocked. Hammer back and I'm ready to attack. And I watch you drop to the sounds of a pop, pop, pop. That's what you get when you're fucking with me. You ain't nothing but a bitch ass wannabe. You wanna run your mouth? Man, shut the fuck up. Don't sing it, just bring it and I'll rough you up. Cause I don't need no hook. This beat's that tight, I'll just shut up and let the bass hit you like.
Money's Crazy Mind contains language that may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised, but will be completely ignored.
I'm sick of it, doing right, doing wrong. Parents pissed off every time I write a song. Smoke, crack, worship Satan, what the fuck is that? It's something funny, made for you to laugh at.
You're destroying America with your rap.
You're so full of shit, I need to call hazmat. The only way I would ever apologize
I gotta go
if
on
I
record
had
with
my
this,
face
right?
buried in your
really
sister's
do.
thighs.
Never in 39 years have I ever seen anything like
Okay, I'm sorry
It
for what
shows
it's worth,
the
but the best
fanaticism
part of you was the
of this fan
afterbirth.
base, and
If
it's
you
crazy.
can't take a fucking joke, then go jump in the river. Na 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 na
Into the
na
return
na
of
na, and I fucked your
to the point
sister.
where you
If you
overshadow
can't
the
take a fucking joke, then go jump in
of
the
Randy
river. La 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 la
That it was
la
kind
la
of-
la,
for me,
and I fucked your sister.
If you want to continue to put this narrative out there, that Cody finishing the story
What the fuck, dude?
is this big daunting task, and Cody has all these mountains to climb and all these brass rings to pull. And of course, we gotta thank our official music sponsor, Psych Ward, for the continued use of Funny.
And my balls on her chin, she's bobbing her head to this fucking beat. Damn, dog, man, your sister's a freak. Hey, baby, you like the Eagles? Wanna hear something?
Oh. If you're hearing that voice, that must mean it's only one thing. It's time to reopen the asylum once again. And this time, ladies and gentlemen, there is no more road. There is no more talk. There is no more anything but to get it on in the middle of a 10-foot by 10-foot ring. Ladies and gentlemen, WrestleMania weekend is officially fucking here. Yes. This is obviously one of my favorite times of the year. I do this special every year, and this year is no different. We've got some big news to talk about before we start breaking down the WrestleMania 40 card, but to say I am pumped for this weekend would be an understatement. This is the first time in 2 years I'm actually doing this special from the confines of Spook Central. And I'm not upset about that, not at all. The way things have gone this year, this is the best place to be to give you guys the breakdown of WrestleMania 40 and to tell you that the build-up and the road to WrestleMania has been nothing but spectacular would be an understatement. So, here we go. I keep telling you guys I'm doing things to help build Spook Central. I'm doing things to help build the show. I'm doing things to help build the Nameless Faceless Productions brand, to help build the Keezy Productions brand. And we're adding one more tool to the talent, to quote Winston Zeddemore. Of course, you knew that had to be coming, right? But starting very soon, we have a call-in line for Money's Crazy Mind. For those times when I decide to do the show live, we now have a call-in line. I've been hard at work to make this happen, but it has happened, and I want to thank Spectrum Mobile for the opportunity to have the Money's Crazy Mind and Nameless Faceless Productions call-in line. That's going to be used for guests. That's going to be used for you guys to call into the show and share your thoughts about the things that I'm talking about when I'm live. So, you're welcome. In the coming weeks, I will be sharing the number for the call-in line, but the line is live, and I'm going to prove it right now. Now, the person that owns that phone is not going to answer because I'm hosting a podcast, but I just called my personal number just to prove that the call-in line does work. But I'm not ready to give the number out for that just yet. But it is going to be coming very, very soon. All right. So, here we go. Like I said, this is one of my favorite weekends of the year. It's WrestleMania 40 weekend. And of course, there's no other way to talk about WrestleMania 40 than to shake off a little ring rust. So here we go. WrestleMania, it's here. It starts tomorrow night. But to say that this hasn't been an active week in the world of the WWE would be an understatement. So we're going to look at the entire breakdown of WrestleMania week. We'll talk about the things that have already happened, and we'll talk about the things yet to come. So let's take a look at the schedule for WrestleMania week. So, of course, this past Monday Night Raw was in Brooklyn, and we had another amazing moment featuring Cody Rhodes and The Rock. We will talk about that when we get into the matches that those two are involved in. Tuesday night, we had NXT. Wednesday night, the premiere of WWE Speed on X. I did not watch this, but I do want to go back and check it out. Thursday, The Bump on Peacock, and WWE World opened at 2 p.m. in Philadelphia. Today has been a busy day already, and it is still going to keep going. But you had the WrestleMania kickoff at 5 p.m. and then coming up immediately after this show goes off the air, don't you think I scheduled this the way I did for a reason? This is the reason right here. SmackDown goes live at 8 p.m., the go-home show for WrestleMania, and then immediately following that will be the WWE Hall of Fame. I have a couple of thoughts on the WWE Hall of Fame as well. And then Saturday night, NXT Stand and Deliver goes live at noon, and then the countdown to WrestleMania Night 1 begins at 5 p.m., and then the show goes live at 7 o'clock. On Sunday, the Slammies are going to be at 10:30 a.m. Countdown to WrestleMania starts at 5, and then Night 2 of WrestleMania goes live at 7 p.m. And then what has become one of the most electrifying nights in sports entertainment, and no, I did not mean to steal that from The Rock, will be Monday Night Raw in Philadelphia at 8 p.m. And the night after Mania Raw has become an event all in itself, which is why it is included on that schedule. So before we start breaking down the card for WrestleMania 40, both nights, we got both nights, and I got them right here written down. I want to talk about the Hall of Fame for a second. I love everybody that's getting inducted this year. I think it's showing the diversity of who the WWE wants to include in the WWE Hall of Fame. There is one thing that I do kind of have a little bit of a problem with, and you can kind of see it. I'm a Paul Heyman guy t-shirt. So this is something that I do feel very, very passionate about. And my issue with it is this. I understand that there's the big storyline going on right now with the Bloodline, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. I understand all of that. And I know that Paul is an integral part of that storyline since he is the wise man for Roman Reigns. However, Paul's career has spanned so many decades. This story that he's in right now with the Bloodline is just the part of the story that he's in right now, the chapter of that particular book that is happening right now, the Bloodline. But previous to that, he was with a man who is not being mentioned right now in the WWE. So I understand the exclusion of this particular individual, Brock Lesnar. But even before that, he was the general manager of SmackDown. He wrote for SmackDown. He also worked with CM Punk, which is where the phrase Paul Heyman guy came from. But he worked with the developmental territory as well in FCW and even, if I remember correctly, Ohio Valley as well. And some of the other territories that the WWE has worked as a promotional territory as well. And that's where guys like CM Punk and John Cena and all of those guys came from. Paul was working there during those times, especially with Punk. But even before that, Paul was a commentator. And this is just WWE. But then before that, he did probably what was his biggest success and his biggest failure. And that was ECW. And ECW was ultra popular. ECW was the thing that was the battle against the norm against WCW and and WWE at the time. ECW was the grunge era to WWE and WCW's hair metal. And that's actually borrowing a statement or a phrase from the wise man himself. Paul Heyman has always been one of my biggest influences in the world of professional wrestling. I always said if I ever got back into the world of professional wrestling, I wanted to be a Paul Heyman-like guy. The guy that helped build the stars. The guy that looked at the island of misfit toys and turned it into something that was extra special and extra entertaining. Extreme didn't just mean weapons to Paul Heyman. It meant giving you things that WWE and WCW weren't. Lucha Libre style wrestling. Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, names that are very well known now in the world of the WWE would never have been discovered in America if it wasn't for WCW. But then you also have the Japanese strong style, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, the Dean Malenkos, the Saturns. Names that people hold in high regard all got their starts or got noticed by WWE and WCW in ECW. And then you had those that embraced the hardcore, the weapons, the violence, the blood. Tommy Dreamer, Raven, Rob Van Dam, Sandman, the Human Suplex Machine Taz, Sabu. These are all wrestlers that are known and were highly popular during the time that they were around in the wrestling business. All of those people got their starts in ECW. And yes, Chris Jericho was with Smoky Mountain Wrestling. But he didn't get noticed by WWE and WCW in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He got noticed by WCW in ECW. And yeah, a lot of the names that I mentioned are under contract to a lot of other wrestling companies. Tommy Dreamer owns his own, for a matter of fact. But to have Roman Reigns be the person to induct Paul Heyman into the WWE Hall of Fame, okay, I understand what you're saying. It's Paul's choice. But in my opinion, I don't think, because I think I know the way that Paul Heyman's mind would have worked when it comes to something like the Hall of Fame. I don't think Roman Reigns was Paul's first choice. And it kind of makes me wonder if WWE forced that a little bit because of the fact that Taz is a commentator for AEW. Because of the fact that Tommy Dreamer owns his own wrestling promotion. Because of the fact that Chris Jericho is a contracted wrestler for AEW. I'm just wondering if that's the kind of thing, if that might have had something to do with the fact that he picked Roman Reigns. But, I mean, you could have picked CM Punk. CM Punk's going to be in Philly this weekend. He's got involvement in one of the matches. I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense to me. With all the other names out there that Paul Heyman could have had to induct him into the WWE Hall of Fame, why Roman Reigns? Unless they're going to start working us at the Hall of Fame and do something to add something to the story of these big matches involving Roman Reigns this weekend in to the Hall of Fame, which for me, being someone who's been a fan as long as I have and being someone who's been in the business, would be completely fucking disrespectful and blasphemous. I'm just going to say that right here and now. But that's all I had to say about the Hall of Fame. I am looking forward to watching the ceremony tonight. I'm also looking forward to SmackDown, knowing what we've been seeing on Raw and SmackDown the past few weeks. Like I said, this road to WrestleMania has probably been one of the best roads to WrestleMania I've seen in years. WWE is making me a fan again. And I never thought I would have said those words. Not the way that WWE has been going. But let's get into it. We're putting main events last here when we break down these cards. And we're going to break it down night 1 and night 2. So let's jump in to the WrestleMania night 1 card, April 6th. Our first matchup, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. Every other member of the Judgment Day has something to do at WrestleMania except Dominic Mysterio. I think that this is just a way to continue that story, but to also do something LWO versus the Judgment Day. Because we all know that Santos Escobar is kind of looking for a way into the Judgment Day. Not that that group needs any more power. I think this match was just added to give Dominic Mysterio something to do at WrestleMania. So who do I think is going to win this one? I would like it to be Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. But given the momentum that Judgment Day has going into WrestleMania, it's probably going to be Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar. There's been a little bit of tension building within the ranks of Judgment Day as of late. And I think this is going to have to be Dominic's I still want to be here, prove it moment to remain a member of Judgment Day. So that's part of the reason why I think Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio are going to win this match. I could be 100% wrong on that, and I hope I am. Like I said, I want Rey and Dragon Lee to win this because I do think that the LWO is a faction that's not very well utilized in the WWE right now. So let's keep this moving along here. The next match up is one that I am looking forward to quite a bit. You have Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane going up against a brand new powerhouse of Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill. Now let's think about this here just for a second. Jade Cargill is making her in-ring WWE debut in this match. Naomi returned at the Royal Rumble after having a phenomenal run in Impact Wrestling, now back to their original name, TNA. And Bianca Belair, she's the EST of WWE, and she has been exactly what her name states she is. All the good things that end in EST for the past few years in the WWE. Going up against a team that is under construction right now with Damage Control, with them outing Bayley. Damage Control could very well win this. But I'm going to quote something that Taz and Paul Heyman have both said in the past. If you lose your debut match, you're fucked. So I don't think they're going to do that, especially with the amount of time, energy, and effort they have been putting in to Jade Cargill. This is one of the biggest acquisitions that WWE has gotten in the years, and we all know how pissed off that Jade is with AEW. So I don't think WWE is going to want to sit there and say, we put all this shit into her just to have her fucking lose. I don't think they're going to do that. And I don't think it would be a good look for WWE to do that, especially with everything that's happening at AEW right now. But that's another story for another time. So in my opinion, I definitely think that the team of Bianca, Naomi, and Jade Cargill are going to win this match. But I wouldn't put it past Damage Control to potentially win this match as well, especially with those tag team titles. This is going to be a damn good match, too. I like just about everybody that is on this in this match. Bianca, phenomenal. Jade Cargill, phenomenal. Naomi, phenomenal. Asuka, she's got a really big storied career. And Kairi Sane and Dakota Kai, they're lighting it up in WWE. We can't deny that. Damage Control has been damage for a while. Next up, a match that I'm still just like, why for some of the people that are in it, but I don't book WWE, so I don't make those kinds of decisions. And this is just going to be a lot of fucking people in the ring at one time, I have a feeling, especially since this is a ladder match. But we have the 6-pack ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. You have the Tag Team Champions, Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor, going up against the Awesome Truth, The Miz and R-Truth, coming back as a tag team. DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. New Catch Republic with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. And A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. I'm just going to start with the teams that I don't want to win this match. And A-Town Down Under with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, they can go down under and they can stay down under because no. New Day. I'm over the New Day. I've been over the New Day for years. Like, split this team up. I mean, especially, where the fuck is Big E? Like, I understand he broke his neck, and that's a long road to recovery, but no. I'm over New Day. Split them up, give them singles careers again, and just let's move the fuck on from New Day. Please. Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor. I like both of these guys. I think that they would have amazing solo careers. I'm not saying split Judgment Day up. I'm saying let's just get the belts off Judgment Day. New Catch Republic kind of has me intrigued. I like this team of Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Two big guys, had amazing careers in NXT. Pete Dunne has won gold in NXT. I think these guys could do a really long run as tag team champions, and it would be something different. However, with the next two guys I'm going to mention, The Miz and R-Truth, they've been there too. And R-Truth is just phenomenally funny right now. I love this kind of like trapped in the Attitude Era kind of thing that he's got going on, you know, calling DIY DX and you know, just some of the other things that he's been doing. I you know, they're kind of doing like what they did with Goldust after Goldust got electrocuted and he was doing the yang thing. So, I mean, I basically think that Judgment Day knocked him stupid, but it's funny, and I'm digging it right now. The Miz, you know, hometown guy. He's from Parma. I live in Parma. You know, and I've known The Miz most of my life, man. You know, but you know, they're definitely still on that lower rung. Like, I'd be okay if they won, but kind of really don't want them to because, in my opinion, both of these guys kind of need to just go away kind of thing. And that pretty much leaves DIY. You know, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, how many more chances can these guys get? But I'm a big fan of Gargano's. I'm a big fan of Ciampa's. I think it's time to give these guys the gold and let them do a run. They're fun to watch. Gargano's been fun to watch for decades if you knew where to find him. And I did know where to find him because I live in Northeast Ohio. Dude's from Cleveland. He wrestled in AIW here, Absolutely Intense Wrestling. He also wrestled for Pro Wrestling Ohio when PWO was a thing. He also wrestled for Prime Wrestling when PWO changed their name to Prime Wrestling. And so I've been a fan of Gargano's for a long time. And I think that it's time for Gargano, especially, to be able to show what he can do in the WWE. So, and plus, I mean, you know, this, you know, this story has pretty much just been DIY and the Judgment Day. Adding all these other teams in is just another hurdle for DIY to try to get past, to get to the Judgment Day. I think this match is going to come down to Judgment Day and DIY. I really do. And if WWE decides to take the belt off of Judgment Day, then DIY, out of all these other teams, is probably the most primed to win them because of this ongoing storyline that they've had between Judgment Day and DIY. Coming up, a match that happens every 15 years in the WWE. The first time it happened was WrestleMania 10, Owen versus Brett. The second time it happened, WrestleMania 25, Matt versus Jeff Hardy. And now the third time it's happened, again, exactly 15 years later, Uso versus Uso. I think the Bloodline is losing a lot of steam right now, especially when you have The Rock, predictably one of the biggest names in the history of the professional wrestling business, turning so heel that everybody hates him. So I think that this is just going to be the first knockdown of the Bloodline in the weekend. Jay is going to yeet all over his Uso brother. And that is the only thing I'm going to say about this. I'm actually really looking forward to this match. This match is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. We've seen these two go at it in the past, but never in solo competition. It's always been Bloodline versus Jay and other people. So this time, it's brother versus brother, blood versus blood. But I also do expect there to be some interference from the only member of the Bloodline that has absolutely shit all to do this weekend, Solo Sikoa. Expect to see Solo at some point during this match, because the other members of the Bloodline are a little bit busy after that. So I don't think that we're going to see Roman and The Rock interfere in this, but I do think that they will send Solo out after Jay. So this is going to be another one of those matches that's just going to be fun to watch. The only match so far that just looks like it might be a sleeper match is Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. Every other match on this card is pretty lit, and I'm really excited for this WrestleMania Night 1 so far. And now we get into the championship bouts for the night. First up, another match that on paper looks like a complete mismatch. But knowing the history of both of these guys in the ring, this is going to be a hell of a fight. And that is for the Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn taking on Gunther. This one has had some build-up to it, and it's been interesting build-up. You know, Sami Zayn fought his ass off to earn the right to take on Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn is no stranger to championship gold. This is Gunther's first championship, and he's had it for a long time. But Sami's another one that's kind of on that finish the story kind of road to WrestleMania this year. This is kind of like the culmination of everything that Sami has gone through over the past couple of years. You got to remember, he was a member of the Bloodline at one point too, trying to keep Jay in the Bloodline because Jay was unhappy. Same thing with Jimmy. Then the Bloodline outed Sami. And then Sami kind of went on this road to recovery, building himself up. Teamed up with KO to take on the Bloodline, and they had a great run as tag champions. Now, you have Sami, no KO, and he's taking on Gunther. This path that Sami has been on has seen him win, has seen him lose. I mean, hell, just Monday night, they had him training with Chad Gable to get ready for a match against Bronson Reed. Fucking Godzilla in the WWE, man. That dude is just, woof. Owies. Anyway, Sami managed to win the match. And then Gunther comes out and kicks the shit out of him. There's a lot of build up to this. And I think this match is going to be one hell of a match to watch. This is going to be a fun match. And I think I'm going to go against the grain of what a lot of people are thinking here. I don't think Sammy's going to win. I think they're going to keep the belt on Gunther. I think they got something big planned for Gunther, and it's going to take somebody bigger than Sami Zayn. And I don't mean bigger character-wise or anything like that. I just mean like a beefy motherfucker to take that belt away from Gunther, because Gunther has destroyed every person who's gotten it through him and gone through, tried to go through him. Not only that, but I do think we might see an appearance from the other members of Imperium. I know I'm talking about a lot of outside interference in the night one card, but just given the way that these factions run, that's the only reason why I'm saying that. I'm thinking Sammy might get really damn close to beating Gunther. And then Imperium comes out and gets Gunther the win. We've seen them do it in the past, which is another reason why I'm not putting it past them. And Imperium don't have shit to do this weekend either. So there's that. Up next, a match that I think belongs on night 2. But they put it on night 1, and I think it's just to get that crowd re-amped for the main event. But the next match on the card, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley defending against Becky Lynch. Becky is trying to reclaim that glory that she had before she went off to have Seth Rollins' baby. Former women's champion. I like Becky. I've always been a fan of Becky. I was a fan of Becky back in NXT, and I've been a fan of Becky ever since she got into WWE. But right now, that strap remains in one place, and that is on mommy's waist. If there's anyone that doesn't need Judgment Day, it's Rhea Ripley. And I'm thinking that this might be her way to get out. With the way that she's been acting recently with Judgment Day, kind of trying to distance herself from Dom, and we hardly ever see her do anything with Damian Priest and Finn Balor anymore. I'm thinking this is her way of starting to say, I'm going to go do my own thing, peace the fuck out, to the Judgment Day. And I think that that's the right move. Rhea doesn't need the Judgment Day. All Rhea needs is that. And I think that even though Becky Lynch, the man, Becky Lynch, has had one hell of a phenomenal career up to this point, it would be a mistake to take that belt off of Rhea Ripley right now. I like both of these women. I really do. I've met Becky Lynch, and she was one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Have not had the opportunity to meet Rhea yet. But the momentum that Rhea Ripley has right now, and the way that she has been just absolutely dominant and against everybody that they've put up against her, Rhea Ripley is walking out of WrestleMania 40 with that Women's World Championship. The way that I had to make sure I was reading that right. Women's World Championship. That's what it says. And then when we get into night 2, just the wording on that just sounds fucking stupid, but whatever. Here we go. The main event of night 1. This is the match that has everybody just going, this one's going to be fucking fun. So, damn, I was hoping I had it. But I don't have the sound effect I was looking for, but I do have one that we're going to throw out there for just a moment. Let me just do that so that it comes through on the podcast. It's main event time for night 1.
If I can be serious for a minute.
This match is probably not going to be suitable for all audiences, given what we've seen already between these 4 people. And that came to a huge head Monday night on Raw. And I know that there's a lot of podcasts and a lot of people that are going to be out there that are doing their WrestleMania predictions tomorrow because they wanted to see what's going to happen on SmackDown first. And I understand all of that. But what more can you do to build this storyline than what they've already done? And that is The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. We already know Cody is going to be attempt to finish the story on night 2 against Roman Reigns. This match has implications that lead into that match. But you're also adding the final boss. You're also adding the savior of misbehavior. I see a lot of dynamic going on in this match, and I think that this match is going to not only have implications on the Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns match, because we already know it is, but I think it's also going to have implications into Seth Rollins' title defense Sunday night as well. This match is by far one of the biggest matches on the card. I think it might even be bigger than the solo championship matches between Cody and Roman and Seth and Drew McIntyre. And here's why I say that. Like I said, this match is going to have implications on both of those title matches. Because if The Rock and Roman Reigns win, the match between Cody and Roman then becomes Bloodline Rules. What the hell is Bloodline Rules? We don't really know. We got a taste of it Monday night when Seth Rollins took on Solo Sikoa. But that turned out to just be a big, giant freaking beatdown from the Bloodline against Cody and Seth. Cody wasn't even supposed to be there because he got the shit beat out of him by The Rock last Monday night on Raw when The Rock threw him into his own tour bus, bloodied the shit out of him, and then took his blood and rubbed it on Cody's own weightlifting belt and then threatened to put Cody's mother's blood on it. But The Rock also has a very dirty mouth as of late, and I don't think that the WWE or USA Network are very happy about that. But this all is lead up to the WWE leaving USA Network with Raw and going to Netflix. I think the WWE is trying to take a different approach, and they're trying to be more edgy, like AEW is, like New Japan is, like TNA is, like all these other wrestling companies that are trying to go back to that late 90s, early 2000s style. The WWE has been left behind for the past few years because of, let's face it, what Drew McIntyre said last week on Raw. PG, pal. So I think there's a lot of that going into this as well. However, The Rock made a really good point when he was beating the crap out of Cody Rhodes. Don't fuck with my fucking family. And that is exactly what The Rock said, even though we couldn't hear it because USA obviously bleeped it. They didn't just bleep it. They just completely went, okay. Whoa. I didn't want that. But, they just completely muted it. They said, we don't want you hearing a damn word The Rock is saying. Which means they knew about it because they hit the button way in advance. But, so Bloodline Rules will be on the line if The Rock and Roman Reigns wins. However, if Seth and Cody win, there can be zero interference by the Bloodline in the Cody-Roman Reigns match. But there's also another element to this that I think a lot of people are forgetting about. Seth Rollins also has a match Sunday night against Drew McIntyre. And there's a stipulation in that match now, too, that we will get into when we talk about that match between Drew and Seth. But who's to say that Drew McIntyre won't come out there and try to screw Seth so that there's a possibility that Cody might try to interfere in Seth's match against Drew McIntyre. Or maybe even vice versa. What if Drew causes Cody to do something that could potentially be seen as he's trying to screw Seth, and then Seth tries to screw Cody? There's a lot of moving parts in this match, and I am really excited to see this match. Not just to see The Rock back in the ring for the first time in a long time, but just to see the fallout leading into night 2 of WrestleMania. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches on the card for night 1. Night 2, there are 6. Four of them title matches. 5. Wait, is there only 5 matches? No, 6. Okay. 5 title matches. Night 2. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention about the 6-pack match. Actually, so there is only 4 title matches on night 2. This match does not end when one team takes down one set of titles. One team takes down one set of titles, they're those tag team champions. And then the match continues until both sets of titles are taken down. So we're not going to get one new tag team champion. We're going to get 2. I forgot about that until I was talking about the match, because there's a similar match on night 2. So thinking about that, let's circle back to this match here just for a second, because I just had that revelation that, oh yeah, So let's rethink this. DIY wins the Raw Championship. Dethrones Judgment Day that way. I still don't want New Day to win. So I'm going to toss it up here. There's going to be a 50-50 on this one, in my opinion. It'll either be Awesome Truth, because I think that they're going to start building something with those two, or it'll be New Catch Republic. That's who I would want it to be, but there's also the possibility that they can go heel with this and put it on A-Town Down Under. DIY, I guarantee. The other one, I can't. I can't guarantee who's going to win that second set of belts. I wish I could, but I can't. All right, so let's move on to night 2, April 7th. This first match is a match that I thought was going to be another 6-pack challenge, but then I remember the 6-pack challenge was for both belts. This one is going to be a slobber knocker, to steal a phrase from Jim Ross. You got Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament, Karrion Kross, and the Authors of Pain, Akam and Rezar. That is just a lot of man meat in the ring at one time. Karrion Kross, Akam and Rezar, and Bobby Lashley are just big dudes, and don't put anything past the Street Profits. Those guys have had a hell of a run too. Angelo Dawkins ain't no small guy either. So, oof. This one's tough because Lashley and the Street Profits, that's a hell of a team, and the Street Profits have been fun to watch. But Final Testament, man, that's like That's like 3-minute warning, man. Oof. It's a lot of fucking meat. And a lot of big, strong dudes. Man, I'm conflicted on this one. Fuck. I can see this one going either way. Man, this is a tough one to call. You know what? I think the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley can pull this one out. That's the way I keep leaning, but then I keep sitting there saying, yeah, but those other three guys, they're so powerful and so dominant when they're in the ring. No, I'm going to give it to Lashley. I'm going to give it to Lashley and the Profits, man. I think they can pull this one out. I really do. I think that we have enough heels winning on night one that we need some faces to start winning, man. Yeah, I think Lashley and the Street Profits are going to pull this out. Yeah. All right, I'm putting it in stone. Next up, a match that, normally I would be super excited for, but this one just has no steam for me for some reason. I'm a huge fan of AJ Styles. I always have been a huge fan of AJ Styles. And I like LA Knight. I like what they were doing with LA Knight. Again, this is another toss-up, but AJ's career is starting to wind down, and you can tell that by a lot of the things that he's been saying publicly. So I think AJ might actually pass the torch to LA Knight on this one. I really do. I think that's what's going to happen. I think LA Knight's going to win, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see LA Knight continue this build that he needs to build, because he's a hugely popular star right now with the fans, and WWE needs to start building on that. All right, so here we go. First championship match of night 2, first of 4. United States Championship triple threat match. Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. I know who I don't want to win this match, and that is the guy that currently holds the title, and that is Logan Paul. Logan has shocked me with his in-ring talent. He's great at cutting a promo, but I just think his time as champion has come to pass. He's a great heel character. I love what they're doing with him. But I just think way too much heel heat against him right now. Everything that he's done, not just to Randy Orton, but to Kevin Owens too. Yeah, I see them taking that belt off of him. Who do I see them putting it on? God, I hope not Randy Orton. That dude does not need another title right now. Kevin Owens is on fire right now. Put the belt back on KO. That's my thought on that one. Next up, a match I am super excited for. This one is going to just be a fun match to watch. Both of these ladies are phenomenal to watch in the ring. Bayley is another one that I've just been all the way ever since NXT. And now that she is excommunicated from Damage Control and Io Sky is the last member of Damage Control, this is it. This is going to be Bayley's redemption moment. This is going to be the end of her heel run, and she's going to turn face after this, and she's going to do it with that women's championship on her waist. And then, we'll see what happens after that, but I think this is it. And this is going to start to be the downfall of Damage Control as well. There's going to start to be a lot of deception in the ranks, especially when Io Sky loses to Bayley. And we're just going to start seeing Damage Control implode from the inside out. Like I said, they have a chance to win that match night 1. And if they do, and then Io loses, that's going to be the first step in those bricks starting to fall. But you don't put this much hype into Bayley winning the Women's Royal Rumble and all the firsts that she's had this year to not put the belt on her. Nope. Not at all. Not at all. Bayley, hands down, I'm putting that in stone. She wins. Next up, Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. New wrinkle added to this Monday night. CM Punk will be on commentary for this match. Now, we all know they are building to an implosion between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. The problem is, the other guy in this match has problems with CM Punk too. Now, Punk claims he's not at 100% yet and he can't wrestle, which is why he's going to be on commentary. He also had the chance to be the special guest referee, but even he admitted, I can't be impartial in this match. I hate both of you because you both hate me. I think that would have been fun, but Punk on commentary, I'm all for it. But again, this match could have fallout from the tag match the night before. Now, Seth Rollins does not technically need to lose the belt for the storyline between Drew and Punk to go into fever pitch. It helps because I definitely think if Punk had not gotten hurt during the Rumble, I will say this till the cows come home, Punk was going to win that Rumble. Cody would have still fought Roman Reigns, but Punk was going to win that Rumble and go up against Seth Rollins because that was the angle that they were originally building towards. But then they started doing this thing where Drew's the one that injured Punk. Do we know that for sure? No, nobody does. But that's what they're saying, is that Drew was the one that injured Punk in the Rumble, cost him winning the Rumble. Could there be a three-way match between Punk, McIntyre, and Rollins? Absolutely. I don't think that's what they're going to do. They'd be smart not to. But that is definitely a potential and a possibility. Who wins this? In my opinion, that depends on what happens Saturday night. If Cody and Seth win clean, Seth wins. If there's interference from the Bloodline or Drew or anybody else, and Cody and Seth lose that match Friday night, McIntyre wins. Because like I said, Drew losing the belt, Drew losing this match does not affect his storyline against Punk at all. It actually helps it because now Punk has ammunition against Drew. You couldn't beat Seth Rollins. You think you can beat me? I'm coming back from injury. Seth just wrestled a match last night, got his ass whipped for most of it, and he still beat you. You see what I'm saying? You see how that can work. But then let's say that Drew does win. Now Drew has more heat against Punk. Look what I did. I did what you couldn't do because I put you on the shelf for WrestleMania. Ha ha. You see where I'm going with this? Who do I think is going to win this match? I just gave you the two potential scenarios, but I'm going to put a definitive on it. In my opinion, Drew McIntyre is going to win this match, and that is going to be the catalyst to continue the storyline in the build-up to a match. I'm going to guess probably at SummerSlam. In what city is that? Oh, yeah, the one I live in, Cleveland, Ohio. That will be when we get the culmination of that match. I don't think they're going to do it at Backlash. I don't think they're going to do it anytime sooner than that. Plus, Punk may not even be ready for Backlash or any pay-per-view until SummerSlam. It's the next big pay-per-view. And they need something big to fill up fucking Brown Stadium because that place is huge. I love the way this timed out. We're on our last match, and we just hit the hour mark of the show, so that means we can go to break right after this, and then when we come back, we got one more topic we're going to talk about, and it's one that might make me tear up a little bit. But let's break down this final match here at WrestleMania, the one that we've been building towards since last year's WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Again, I got a problem with the name of the belt. Can you really call it an undisputed title if you have another champion? That belt is supposed to have the same level of prestige? Can you really call it undisputed at that point? Or can we just go back to calling it the Universal Championship? I mean, again, lots of implications that need to be determined to determine the outcome of this match. I'm going to give you my most likely scenarios, and I'm not going to give you a winner of this match because, quite frankly, there are too many what-ifs going into this match for me to definitively choose who is going to win this match. What if, number one, Cody and Seth win clean, which means the bloodline cannot interfere in this match? There is one part of that stipulation that hadn't been announced yet, but I think it might. Because I think something might be building between The Rock and Triple H. Think about it. They're both in power. And if you remember back to the WrestleMania kickoff that they did last month, there was a little bit of a disconnect there between good old Dwayne and Paulie Boy. So I think they might try to do like a little bit of a power struggle kind of thing with The Rock and Triple H, where The Rock wants things to go his way, obviously lean more towards the bloodline when it comes to that. And then Triple H wanting to do the right thing, or the thing that might be better for the fans instead of better for the bloodline. If you catch my drift of where I'm going with that particular scenario. So they might be building towards something for that. So, I mean, you could throw that other wrench in the match with the game potentially getting involved if the bloodline does interfere, if Seth and Cody win the match clean. But let's say Seth and Cody win the match dirty. What I mean by that is somebody comes in and interferes on behalf of Seth and Cody, which could be Drew McIntyre. Like, that's another wrench that I didn't throw in when I was talking about it. But McIntyre could potentially want Seth to win that match so that he gets a full-strength Seth. But seeing the way that Drew's character is going recently, I don't think that's the case. But you never know. This is professional wrestling, right? But then there's the other scenario. The Rock and Roman Reigns win clean, meaning no interference from the other members of the bloodline. Now you have this match in bloodline rules, and seeing what Solo Sikoa was willing to do to Seth Rollins Monday night on Raw under bloodline rules, I can just imagine what they would do to Cody Rhodes, seeing the way that this match has been building, especially after The Rock was introduced. But then you have The Rock and Roman Reigns winning dirty. Interference from the bloodline, costing Cody and Seth the match. We might see some interference on behalf of Cody Rhodes. You know, people coming to the defense of Cody. There's a lot of other people that want to get their hands on Roman Reigns. You need to remember that. But there's also another element that I think very well could happen. Because I think The Rock is not just sending a message to Cody Rhodes. The Rock is also sending a message to the undisputed champion. Because think about this. There's been this talk over the past year, going back to Jimmy and Jay originally leaving the bloodline, going back to the Sami Zayn stuff, going back to all that deception that's been in the ranks over this past year, that the family isn't happy with Roman Reigns as the head of the table. And that story about The Rock versus Roman Reigns has been building since that moment. And then think about it when The Rock first came back, too. What is it The Rock said? Maybe he'll sit at the head of the table. The Rock pretty much has taken over affairs of the bloodline. But we also know this about The Rock. And he said it. Don't fuck with my fucking family. Roman losing Jey Uso out of the bloodline and all the other things that Roman has done, probably against family wishes, like, I don't know, adding Sami Zayn into the mix. There's a lot of things that The Rock could potentially sit there and be like, yeah, this match is bloodline rules, but I made it bloodline rules so that I can show you who the real head of the table is. And then that leads into a match further down the line. Maybe SummerSlam, maybe before. Rock versus Roman. Fans have been wanting it since The Rock came back. So there's a lot of scenarios going into this. A lot of scenarios. And the bloodline could come in and help Roman retain. That's another scenario that needs to be talked about as well. This is why I can't give a definitive winner to this match. And I don't want to give a definitive winner to this match. I want to see Cody finish the story as much as anybody else does, because why come back to WWE to continue getting fucked over? Injuries have played a role in that. But there was no reason that, Cody couldn't come back at WrestleMania last year and beaten Roman. There's no that's the biggest part about this whole thing. And I've said that in a past episode, and I even included it in the intro to the show. How many more brass rings and glass ceilings does Cody need to go through before you finally give him this belt? He came back to WWE to right all the wrongs that he had in WWE before he left and started AEW with Tony Khan and the Young Bucks. He left that world behind and came here. How many more brass rings and glass ceilings are there? He's pretty much broken through them all and gotten them all. He's collected them more than Mario collects rings or Sonic collects rings. I actually wish I had the Sonic ring noise. I'm going to have to try to see if I can find it. This is close, though. But what else is there for Cody to do? There's only one thing left, and that's win the damn match. Do I think it can happen? Absolutely, given some of the scenarios that I just broke down. Do I think it's going to happen? $75 yes, $25 no. Do I think that there's a much bigger story on the horizon if Cody wins? Yeah. Because maybe the way that Roman needs to prove that he deserves to be the head of the table to The Rock is to beat Cody and get the title back. See what I'm saying? There's so many things that you can do with this match. That's why it's so hard to pin it down. This is going to be well, all right. Let me back up on that. This has the potential to be the match of the weekend, depending on everything that happens before. And I'm really hoping that every match on this card can be in the running for match of the weekend. Because we all know that 9 times out of 10, the match that wins match of the year for the Slammies and even for the PWI rankings generally takes place at the biggest show of them all, WrestleMania. And with a card this stacked, there's no reason that any of these matches can't win that title. We're going to go to break here. And when we come back, Bray Wyatt finally immortalized. That when we come back, right here on Money's Crazy Mind.
Oh wow, that sounds really great. Wow, that sounds like a really good deal.
Who are you talking to?
The Northeast Ohio Ghostbusters.
Hello, Northeast Ohio Ghostbusters. What are you wearing?
Khakis?
Well, that sounds hideous.
Well, they're Ghostbusters.
Psych word in this bitch, 2007 and forever, you know what I'm saying? What? Debo Crazy, the nigga named Spooks, right. And that nigga Mr. Sick. Talking and I'm gonna come and slap you. What? I see you running and I'm gonna fucking get you. Toe to toe, blow for blow, be a man now. You wanna talk the talk, now walk the fucking walk, punk. I'm out for blood and I'm coming straight for ya. It's hater season and I got my gas loaded. Your crown's my target and I'm about to blow a hole in it. Leave it crooked like the man that's claiming that he's wearing it.
Just like the Terminator, more like the governor. Disappear like David Blaine, my mind's insane. Been like this before the game started. Mowing down the competition cause I'm cold-hearted. Step to me and take your last breath, kid. Have your chest beating like the crystal meth did. I'm about to take mine, quick to eat yours. Quit running around thinking you're hardcore. History should've told you what you're in store for. Step to me and get smacked through the floorboards.
Motherfucker, I came back to the realm, heard a lot of doubting, a lot of shit, talking nothing but a lot of shouting. Fuck words, I'm swinging fists, gonna get ya off guard, fuck trying to disrespect ya. I'm Jason Voorhees without the machete. You ending up disappearing like Machiavelli. Y'all ain't ready, y'all ain't ready. Your mind will explode in the chunks like confetti. What? This is fight music. And your life music. 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 Throw 'em up, throw 'em up, throw 'em up, boy. Throw 'em up, throw 'em up, throw 'em up, boy. Throw 'em up, throw 'em up, throw 'em up, boy. Throw 'em up, throw 'em up, throw 'em up, boy. This is fight music. And your life music. This is fight music, and your life music. This is fight music, and your life music. This is fight music, and your life music. Throw 'em up, 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 throw 'em up. Hell yeah. Psych word in this motherfucker. Hell yeah. People in this motherfucker. Hell yeah. Spooks in this motherfucker. Hell yeah. Mr. Sick in this motherfucker. What?
Next we say it in the run up or shut up. Is it a run up or shut up? Or get smacked the fuck up, you stupid fucking bitch? That's it. Laying it down like that. The second coming, motherfucker.
Well, that was weird. Could have sworn I fixed that. But there it is, I guess. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Money's Crazy Mind. I was eating some Egon food during the break. Egon food. If you guys know anything about Ghostbusters, you'll know why that's Egon food. But here we are, hour number 2. First half of the show, we broke down the entire 2-night WrestleMania 40 card so we can get that shit the fuck out of here. Next up, we're going to talk about the Bray Wyatt Documentary, Becoming Immortal, which debuted on Peacock April 1st. But before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about what is coming up next from Keezy Productions, our partner at Keezy Productions. They've got the World Beats show coming up on April 20th at Sacred Waters North Olmsted. On the card that night, you got King V, you got Air MC, you got Zombie Boy, Dan EP, Olympus Mons, Bart Watts, Royal T, and someone that I am actually very curious in seeing, King 6. Again, April 20. Hopefully the guys are here to get rid of that thing here because we're in the middle of doing a podcast. I don't have time for 100-foot marshmallow men to be coming through my window. But anyway, that event, again, April 20th, 6 p.m., $3 at the door. Go ahead and join Keezy Productions at Sacred Waters as they get ready for World Beats 2 stacked card. Stacked. King V, Zombie Boy, Olympus Mons, they are all okay. There we go, boys. Yeah, get them. Bye-bye. But they're a lot of fun to watch, and everybody else on this card is going to be stacked as well. Go enjoy some kava, enjoy some great music, all brought to you by Keezy Productions. Again, April 20th, 6 p.m. All right. So here we go. April 1st turned out to be a very emotional day for a lot of people in the professional wrestling, not just the business itself, but fandom. When this documentary, Becoming Immortal, Bray Wyatt, debuted on Peacock. It was a very good look, not only into the life of Bray Wyatt, but into the life of his brother as well. I want to do it the best I can to try to keep it as kayfabe as possible. But, I mean, obviously we all know that Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas are the children of IRS. Real name Mike Rotunda. And he's wrestled under that name before, so I don't have any problem saying that. But Mike Rotunda married Barry Windham's sister. So when Bray was born, his name was Wyndham Rotunda. And that makes Bo Dallas Tyler Rotunda. Bo kind of had the name Bo long before WWE when they were wrestling under the tag team Bo and Duke Rotunda. Wonder where they got those names from. but I mean, it pretty much went through everything that Bray did. When he got to NXT and he was given the horrible gimmick of Husky Harris, to becoming Bray Wyatt and kind of where he got that character from and that style of promo that he was originally doing when he was more like the cult leader with the Wyatt family. It was just it's a very good documentary. And even if you're not a wrestling fan and you just like good documentaries that, are breaking down someone's life and especially the tragic way that he died. And I don't mean it was tragic because it was like a really horrible thing that happened to him. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. Yeah, just the sudden and tragic death that Bray Wyatt faced. And the number of people that it affected. And just knowing that even backstage, even at such a early point of his career, and he could have gone on to had a great career, he was being helpful with people backstage. Becky Lynch, talked about that on Raw after he died, where, she was going to be in one of the first ever women's table matches. And Bray could kind of see that she was nervous about it and everything, and talked her into doing the ladder match and gave her tips on how to do it and make it entertaining for everybody that was going to be watching it and all of that. So, I mean, and that's the kind of person that you want leading your locker room. And that's exactly what Bray Wyatt was. And I think that that's a very important thing in the way that he needs to be immortalized, is the fact that he was all about making sure that not just the Bray Wyatt character was the best that it could be, but helping everybody else backstage and making sure that their characters were the best that they could be as well. And I mean, he even did a lot to try to help Bo too, because you may not know this or not. I don't know how deep into things that you get, but the Uncle Howdy character was Bo Dallas. And I believe that there was actually going to be a reveal of that if that story was allowed to continue, if Bray hadn't passed away. But also what he did with Alexa Bliss, bringing her in as kind of like a Sister Abigail kind of thing. Like, she was never named, but everybody pretty much assumed that was Sister Abigail. The Firefly Funhouse, that was completely Bray's idea. The Fiend, that was completely Bray's idea. And he worked with some of the best in Hollywood that does, mask design and things like that to make that character as powerful as it was. And the Fiend was probably Bray's most popular character, even though it didn't matter, because the character, the cult leader character of Bray Wyatt was very good. The Eater of Worlds version of Bray Wyatt was very good. Every version of Bray Wyatt that we got was very good and very well done. And a lot of that credit had to be given to Wyndham Rotunda. And in this documentary, you find out just how much input Wyndham actually did have in the character of Bray Wyatt. And I did not anticipate getting emotional watching that documentary. I didn't. I knew that they were going to talk about Bray dying, and I knew that they were going to talk about how he died and everything like that, but I did not expect to get emotional, and I looked over and I see my wife crying too. We were both very big fans of Wyndham's and Bray Wyatt and the whole Wyatt family, and it was, it hurt when Brody Lee died. For those of you that may not know him as Brody Lee, Luke Harper, that one was shocking too. And that one was just about as sudden as it was with Bray. But Bray was a tough one because we knew that he was on this rebuild, coming back from an injury and coming back, coming back after, actually he wasn't injured. This was coming back after he got fired. And a lot of fans thought that he shouldn't have gotten fired. And he was working on building something with that Uncle Howdy character, and there was talk about them bringing Alexa Bliss back into it, and everything else too. But Bray got sick. He ended up with COVID, and he just never really got better from it. There was a lot of concern because of his heart, because his heart wasn't working properly. So there was a lot of things that were going on to get his heart fixed so that he was able to come back and do what he needed to do. JoJo, his fiance, talked on there about how, he was okay to start working out, to start doing that comeback. And then, things started going wrong again. But he kept telling everybody, I'm fine. I feel good. The day he died, his ex-wife called him and asked him if he wanted to pick their daughters up from school, and he said absolutely. Walked into the kitchen, said good morning to JoJo and their son. And he never woke up. He said he wasn't feeling good. He was going to take a nap. And his alarm started going off, and JoJo walked in to try to wake him up. He wouldn't move. She was shaking his leg. No response, no nothing. Immediately called 911. It just so happened her mom was there. Her mom gets on the phone with Bray's mom and tells her what's going on. And then they call Bo. They call their sister. Just hearing the way that things were going, it doesn't sound like Bray even made it to the hospital alive. And someone who's had scares in the past when it comes to heart and things like that, I take things like that very seriously. But to hear Bo say that the doctor came out and pretty much say that there was nothing that could have been done, and just seeing JoJo crying and their mom crying, Bo crying, their sister crying, just seeing everybody crying and everything like that. I'm tearing up just remembering it, and hearing Becky talk about it, hearing Alexa Bliss talk about it, hearing other people from the WWE that shared moments with Wyndham talk about everything. It was bad. It was. I mean, he's younger than I was. I mean, that's the craziest part about it. He loved Beetlejuice. He loved Ghostbusters. A man after my own damn heart. With some of the stuff that Bray was into and all that. But yeah, man. A great watch, wrestling fan or not. It's a great watch, and it's a great way to remember Bray. There was a little thing at the end. There's a post-credit scene, I guess you can call it, narrated by The Undertaker too. And even The Undertaker shared some really cool moments that he had with Bray. Doesn't get much better than that, man. But yeah, I wanted to end this on a good note. But there was a great tease at the end of the documentary. And I don't really want to reveal it, but I do. I'm struggling with not revealing it, kind of thing. But I think I'm gonna. God, I want to reveal this so bad. But I'm not going to. I mean, it's already been talked about in wrestling circles. So I guess it would be okay if I did. Fuck it, I'm going to do it. So the documentary ended after hearing, some things from The Undertaker about, him not being sure if he wanted to do this or not. What is going on with this? Okay. Him not being sure if he wanted to do it or not. And then he thought about it and, but it also ended with a really great story. Why are we doing this? Okay, so it's not going to be exactly the way I wanted it. But anyway, and then they cut to Bray's lantern. Everybody that's a fan of Bray Wyatt remembers the lantern. He came to the ring with it in every incantation of the Wyatts and the Bray Wyatt character. Even the Fiend had one. And then the lantern lights. And it reveals this. That, my friends, is Bo Dallas's Wyatt family character, Uncle Howdy. And it's being revealed by a lot of people in wrestling press. That was the way that they were going to reveal that Bo is coming back to the WWE, that they gave him time away to deal with Bray's death, and they're going to slow burn him back into the business. Fucking cool. And great that they're allowing him to continue with the Uncle Howdy character. So Alexa Bliss is supposed to be coming back soon too. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. But with that, guys, I got something I got to do before SmackDown gets started here. So with that, thank you everybody for checking out the WrestleMania 40 special. We'll be back next week. Because next week we got to work the program and talk about the dark side of being a child star. That's your tease for next week. Until then, everybody, enjoy WrestleMania weekend. Check out the Bray Wyatt documentary. Until next week, I am too hot to handle, too cold to hold. You call the Ghostbusters because they in control. Lee motherfucking money. I'm closing the asylum. Spook Central is out. Until then, everybody, have a week.
Money's Crazy Mind is proud to be the exclusive flagship broadcast of Nameless, Faceless Productions.
That's all, folks.